So in this lecture, this is basically a lab session for understanding loops in C. So we will learn about looping in C. So what does it mean? So looping means repeating. So we repeat to repeat a task several times. So what benefit do we get? So it helps a lot in many ways, we can see in the examples. So let's see our first example here. So which is, so we want to print numbers from 1 2 3 4 till say 10. So what we do is that, so a for loop is used. So we have a for loop, and what it has, so it has three parts. The first part is initialization, which happens here. So I have int I is equal to 0. So this is initialization. I define I is equal to 0. Then is the test condition. So next is test condition. So this tests, okay, so what is the condition and has it been satisfied? So till I is less than 10, so I will be running this loop, and this is the body which is inside the brackets, and then I'm doing some work, which is here I'm doing printf, and I'm doing %d and I. So this loop, what it does, so it now runs from, so the output will be, so it will first go I is equal to 0, and it will print %di. So 0 will be printed, then I plus plus, so now it becomes 1 is less than 10, so 1 is printed. Next I plus plus, so I becomes 2 is also less than 10, so the body again continues, it prints 2. This goes down till 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, and now I plus plus, so I becomes 9 is less than 10, so it is printed. And after that, what happens, that I plus plus and 10 is now not less than 10, so it will print till here, and this is what we can see here in the output. So now let's look at the second example. So the second example is this one. So here what we do, so there's a kind of just a small change. So what we do is that in the, so this is the increment decrement part. So this is increment slash decrement part. So what happens here is, so let's see, in this for loop I initialize I is equal to 0, and I will always check if I is less than 20, so I will be following this body. And one more thing that we need to understand is that we'll write a for loop something, and then we give braces. So the whatever the code is here, it is the body of the for loop, which is repeated or executed each time till the condition is met. And if you don't give any braces, so only one line after the for loop will be executed. So let's see, I is equal to 0, I is less than 20, so till that time code will be executed. But now this time the increment which is happening is not I plus plus, but it is I is equal to I plus 2. So now what happens is, I is 0 initially, it prints the value 0 here, then I becomes I plus 2, which is now it becomes 2 is less than 20, so it goes here, it prints 2. Now again 2 is less than 20, so 2 I is equal to I plus 2, it becomes 4, and then 4 is printed. So similarly it goes like this, 6 8 10, and it goes till 18. Now I is equal to I plus 2, so I becomes 20, so it will not be printed because it goes out of the loop. But if we wanted to print 20 also, so we should have given here less than equal to sign. So this is what we see also: 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and after that we break. So because I have not given a printf/n, so it goes into the next for loop output. So let's check now the next for loop. So what happens in the next for loop is this one. So now we are showing another, so this is an example of decrement. So I do I minus minus, because here I was equal to 20 finally. So what happens is, but here again we initialize and I becomes 10, and till I is greater than 0 this for loop works, is executed, and we do I minus minus every time. So it starts at 10, it prints, so it starts at 10 here, then it goes to 9, 8, 7 till 1, and after that when 1 is printed, so when we do I minus minus, I becomes 0. Now 0 is not greater than 0, so it comes out of the for loop. So this till here it is printed. So next we go to the next example. So let's see. So what happens in the next example is that we have I is equal to 0, we go I minus minus till I is greater than minus 10, and we see that 0, minus 1, minus 2 till minus 9 is printed. So this is also simple. So next we see some more variations. So one variation is that, okay, so we cannot give any initialization comes here, so we don't have to initialize again until I is greater than equal to 2. So I do I slash equal to 2, which means I is equal to I divided by 2. So this is basically, so we start from 256, so I is initially 256. Now what happens is that we keep on dividing it by 2, so now it becomes 128, then 64, then 32, 16, 8, 4, and then what happens, so we see, and because we have a equal to, so it also becomes 2, and then it prints all of these, but when 2 is again divided by 2, it becomes 1. Now I is not greater than equal to 2, so it comes out of the loop. So we see 256, 128, 64 till 2 is printed. So next comes, we can have two variables in a for loop. So what happens here is, now we have variable I and j. So I is 0 initially, j is 20, this is the initialization part, until I is less than j, so we do 1 I plus plus and then j minus minus. So it's like becoming I is increasing and it is going, and j is decreasing, and they meet at this point. So I is equal to 1 initially, I is 0, so it is I plus plus we do until I is less than j. So initially I is 0, j is 20, then we print those values, then I is equal to 1, j is 19, it is okay, I is less than j, it goes till here, I is 6, j is 14, and we see that it goes till finally it becomes I is 9, j is 11, so till that I is less than j. After that I becomes 10, j becomes 10, so they are equal, so the loop comes out. So this was about the for loop, and we got some knowledge about how to use for loops. So this ends our lecture on for loop.